Welcome to the metropolis, the big city. This is where tech, trends, and culture meet. Meet the people. See the sights. Walk the city streets and experience the lifestyle. This is your first-class ticket to the cities of the world. Tunis, the capital of Tunisia and one of North Africa's easygoing cities. Yet, behind its laid-back approach is an exotic appeal. Tunis deserves to be the perfect introduction to the region. You'll find most of the main sightseeing in the Medina or Old Town, which is already an attraction in itself. There are winding routes along the alleyways, and behind the high walls, you may find yourself lost. But that's the charm of the city. There's a fabulous mosaic collection of the world-famous Bardo Museum. And then, there's the remnants of the once glorious Carthage that's a tourist highlight. Carthage, the fabled wealthy seafaring city of the Phoenicians, lies scattered across the Bay of Tunis. Its columns and pile of marble rubble are bordered by a panorama of the Mediterranean Sea. And who could resist such a view? The sea is actually vital to Tunis's prosperity. The Carthage was completely destroyed in the Third Punic War in 146 BC. And the surviving ruins is worth the visit. The view is yet amazing, especially with its seafront setting. Meanwhile, there's also the Medina district or Old Town. It is considered Tunis's historic heart and known as the Port de France during the colonial period. Because while the Old Town walls of the Hafsid period may have long ago disappeared, when you get inside the mosques, mausoleums, and the madrasas, or the Islamic schools for learning, you'll see opulent tile art and splendid Fatimid and Ottoman architecture decorating the streets. Get lost in the beauty of the district's monumental relics. Last but not least is of course the shopping. In Tunis, the Souk des Chechis is the place to be. Makers of Tunisia's traditional woolen hats will be found here and are even conducting workshops. Looking for furniture to bring home? You'll find them between Rue Gemma Ez Zaytouna and Rue Kasbah. Seattle. Seattle's best. Get to know its finest characteristics and what makes it such a unique city that's worth getting to know. For one, Seattle is surrounded by water. It's got a great historic seafaring culture too. You'll find so many water-related activities to do in the city. You can go fishing, sailing, scuba diving, kayaking, paddleboarding, surfing, and commuting by ferry. Next is its coffee. After all, this is where Starbucks was founded in 1971. The city has earned its nickname as Fueled by Coffee. Here, you'll also find Seattle's best, Tully's, Top Pot, Cherry Street, Pete's, Cafe Ladro, Victrola, and Espresso Vivace. Its coffee scene is thriving with commercial, independent and artisanal espresso roasters and cafes. There can never be too many places to grab a cup of coffee. Here in Seattle, the more coffee places, the merrier. Seattle is also known for its nature parks. Did you know that it's surrounded by about 30 national parks? This means more opportunity for outdoor activity. Seattle is a city where you can find beaches, glaciers, waterfalls, and rainforests. Imagine all that in one place. Meanwhile, it is also known to have a reputation for being a culinary destination. Seattle is home to many critically acclaimed world-class chefs. The city can in fact be considered a farmer's market, locavore, and seafood culture. The people in Seattle usually like to buy food products that's within their area of residence as a way of supporting their neighbors and the natural resources. And last but not least is its culture. Seattle is known to be a place friendly to any race, gender preference, families, you name it. It has in fact gained the title of being one of America's best cities for families. The city has also a remarkable LGBT population. Many of its residents also hold a commendable bachelor's degree or higher. Family-friendly fairs, festivals, markets, restaurants, and activities make it a well-loved city for families to settle in. It's a pet-friendly place too, and you can expect a playground anywhere nearby. Kyoto, Japan's former capital. You can perhaps consider it the quieter, quainter counterpart to Tokyo, which is known for future tech and skyscrapers. Kyoto is where you can experience the authentic Japanese culture, no less. Here's how to get to know the city. First are the temples. The city is famous for its beautiful temples, and there are a lot of them you can visit. Kyoto, in fact, is called the City of 10,000 Shrines. The Kinkakuji, the Golden Pavilion, is perhaps the most notable one. It is considered Kyoto's most celebrated landmark. It has gold leaf walls that reflect the peaceful ambiance around it, in the middle of a park of cherry trees. Next up is the Fushimi Inari Shrine, which is worthy in your must-visit list too. It is dedicated to Inari, the god of rice and business. You'll find it at the foot of Mount Inari, with woodland paths leading up to the mountain. Indulge in the breathtaking city views while you're at it too. Walk around the historic district called Higashiyama. This is where you'll find Kyoto's traditional wooden architecture. You can buy local crafts and feast on food-stall snacks. What you won't find here are elements that symbolize the 21st century lifestyle, such as telephone cables and poles. Quite interesting. And then there's the Philosopher's Walk. This is named after the 20th century philosopher Nishida Kitaro, who liked to stroll down the lane. The walk actually runs between the Ginkakuji, the Silver Temple, actually made of wood, and Nanzenji Temple. Walking through it will take about half an hour, but worth it especially during cherry blossom season. Delicate pink flowers are sometimes thrown over the canal. Last but not least is Kiyomizu-dera. This place is considered the star attraction of the Higashiyama district. It is a large temple dedicated to the goddess of mercy. It has a temple wooden terrace that's constructed entirely without nails. That's its most popular architectural feature. It's highly recommended that you visit during spring or autumn for spectacular views of the landscape. Geneva, a true gem of Switzerland, Geneva. Full of history, architecture, and sights, Geneva is a worthy place to visit. The amazing European city is best known for Lake Geneva, of course. The jet d'eau water jet should definitely be on top of your list. The jet of water from the lake can go so high and is considered the emblem of the city of Geneva. Go to the pier, get close to the water jet, and you'll feel the powerful pressure of water projected into the air. Geneva Lake is a central focus of the city. It is surrounded by a panoramic view of the mountains with great promenades too. Throughout the year, many boat trips travel to give tourists a view of the city's lakeside. The buildings and, of course, the jet d'eau water jet are terrific sights to see from afar. Next up is the Old Town. As Switzerland's biggest historical city and the home of the Reformation movement, there is so much to be uncovered here. Every corner of Geneva's cobbled streets, you will find Swiss shops and cafes that are worth dropping by. The town square is an active area and was originally a Roman forum. Not to be missed is the St. Peter's Cathedral. You'll find it at the very heart of Old Town. See its architectural beauty and think of how it took over 400 years to build. Now, the cathedral stands to almost 1,000 years old. St. Peter's Cathedral is also known for the archaeological museum you'll find in its basement and the panoramic views you can catch glimpses of from the North Tower. Want more views from the top? Try Mont Saleve. It's a mountain right outside the city where you'll see Geneva in its entirety. For a dose of the green scene in the city, the Parc des Bastions is where you should be. It's a pretty tree-lined park that dates from way back in the 1700s. It was home to the Reformation Wall, which commemorates the main founders of the Protestant faith, including John Calvin. More history? Head over to the Geneva Museums, the cultural and historical place to be. The Musée des Arts d'Extrême-Orient is home to art from Japan and China, and it is renowned internationally. Other notable stops are the Museum of Natural History, the Barbier-Mueller Museum, and the Museum of Art and History. Canberra. Not your typical destination in Australia, but Canberra holds a lot of promise for tourists. There's just so many attractions to explore in the city. Prepare to be surprised. Canberra is in fact Australia's youngest capital city. What it hides is its thriving arts community, lively food and bar scenes, and then of course, the cultural institutions. It's got a healthy mix of man-made and natural attractions for every kind of tourist. Overall, Canberra is where you can explore, discover, learn, and yes, have a lot of fun. Know more about the history of Australia at the War Memorial. This is where the nation's troops and war's involvement is chronicled, starting from the colonial period to the present day. Here, you'll find a new range of exhibits, such as the Anzac Voices and the revamped First War Galleries. You can also tour Parliament House, a modern complex opened in 1988. This is where you can witness the democratic process at question time in the House of Representatives or Senate. Historic and educational stops aside, Canberra's also got a funky spirit. You can experience this at the weekly Old Bus Depot markets held every Sunday. It's where you can buy the most interesting of things: hipster clothes, homeware, and yes, delicious organic produce. It's also where you can shop for souvenirs to bring home. The city is also a haven for art lovers. Small art galleries line the city, not to mention that some of the country's most important collections are displayed here. The National Gallery of Australia is the nation's preeminent public gallery, housing collections of Australian, Indigenous, and Asian art. There's also the National Portrait Gallery nearby that you might just be curious enough to check out. And then there's the Institute of Sport. Get up close and personal with elite athletes, gymnasts, swimmers, and cyclists that train at the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra. The institute welcomes visitors and offers tours for them. The place houses many facilities like swimming pools, tennis courts, and of course, a fully equipped gym. Brussels. Brussels serves as the capital of Flanders, Belgium, and Europe. There's so much to see and do in the city, and here are some of the best ones. First is the Grand Place, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is in fact the main tourist attraction of the city. You can hang out, admire the guild houses, and take in its charm and appealing designs. Then there's the Town Hall, which dates back to 1402. It is considered the seat of civic government. It's got attractive buildings with arched windows, towers, and sculptures. The one of St. Michael slaying a she-devil is one of the most popular. There's also the Pissing Boy, a major character in Brussels folklore. He was designed by Jerome Duquesnoy and is a small fountain resembling a urinating boy. Usually he is naked, but at times he gets dressed. He actually has about 600 outfits displayed in the Maison du Roi. The Maison du Roi means the king's house, but no royalty has ever lived there. The Belgian Comic Strip Center is dedicated to the comic lover. It is in the Wauquez warehouse, a masterpiece in itself, designed by Art Nouveau architect Victor Horta. One of the most popular attractions in it are the 5,000 original drawings and an entire section to Belgium's famous cartoon character hero, Tintin. For recreation and leisure, there's the Hazel Park and the Atomium. It is a glistening 102-meter or 335 feet high model of an atom made out of chrome and steel designed by André Waterkane. It is an accurate depiction of an iron molecule that has been magnified 165 billion times. It was built in 1958 at the World Fair to symbolize the new atomic age. Last but not least is the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. It is an Art Deco church and is the 5th largest in the world. It is modeled on the Sacré-Cœur in Paris and is made of concrete, sandstone, and red brick. It was in 1902 when King Leopold decided to build it, but laid the first stone only in 1905. It was completed in 1971, in time for the 75th anniversary of Belgian independence. Lisbon. Here's what you can see, eat, and do in Europe's most scenic capital, Lisbon. First on the list, Fado. Melancholy will always be a part of the Portuguese psyche, and Fado is the way it is best expressed. Lisbon's profoundest passions and sorrows are heartfelt in Fado, which are haunting strains of which can be heard throughout the city. Fado music interprets saudade, an emotional and heartfelt yearning that's sung over mellow guitar tunes. The most popular icon of this type of musical expression is Amália Rodrigues, who was born in Lisbon and is known as the Queen of Fado. Her contributions in music were instrumental in popularizing Fado to the world. Simply dining in one of the many restaurants in Lisbon that stage live Fado performances will give you the experience you need. Next are the neighborhoods. The neighborhoods in Lisbon have very distinct personalities, each with a unique history. The oldest one is Alfama, a Moorish quarter. The maze of narrow cobbled streets and steep alleyways that surround the castle conjure up images of an Arabic Kasbah. There you will find elegant shops, historic cafes, and chic restaurants. You won't fall short of festivals to attend in Lisbon. In June, the capital celebrates St. Anthony's Festival, also known as the city's biggest and brightest street party. Thousands of locals come in colorful costumes, parading down Avenida da Liberdade in honor of their favorite saint. And then, of course, there's the Nós Alive Music Festival, which lasts for 3 days. Then there's the Superbox Super Rock concert program, which takes place in Parque das Nações. Finally, there's the food. In Lisbon, food is affordably cheap but intensely delicious. They always serve a dish of the day, or prato do dia, and can be considered among the cheapest in Europe. Being a seafaring nation, fresh fish and seafood are of course staple in most restaurants. The cod or bacalhau is a must-try. Lisbon's Mediterranean cuisine involves Brazil, Mozambique, and other ex-colonies spice up the ethnic menu. It's time for us to go! Pack your bags and get your tickets ready. And we'll see you on the next destination. Catch us again next time on Cities of the World.